I was just thinking about some stuff because I really get into this AI stuff when I'm starting to come up with video ideas. And I actually decided to do something kind of, I don't want to say different, but I kind of wanted to go over the anatomy of how I do a pickup from, the time I pick it up to how I deliver it to how I drop off an order. Because it can be a challenge, because sometimes you're waiting at places and you don't want to get upset at them, but you want to be forthright enough to let somebody know, hey, look, I've been waiting several minutes here. How do I talk to these people about this? And I think that has evolved over time. Um, when I pick up an order, I'm going to a place and I get there. I try and park somewhere reasonably close because most of these places you can't park anywhere near where you're supposed to pick it up. Especially on the weekends, it's even worse. So today I had a Starbucks order, and the person was just rude from the get-go. She literally, as soon as I walked in the door to Starbucks, the lady turned around and said, "I'm sorry, it's going to be a few minutes." And so I just sit there and sit there and sit there, waiting on the order. And that's fine. But then she turns around and says, "Well, why didn't you tell me who the order was for?" And it was like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just be rude and just interrupt what she's doing? She told me when I walked in the door to the Starbucks, "I'm sorry, I'm going to be 3 to 4 minutes." Once she says that, I'm out. How you doing? I'm out. I'm just going to let her do her thing, get to my order when she gets to my order, and then move on. Because it's not worth it to get into a spat with her. Which was so funny how the conversation ended with this barista behind the counter. She started just trying to make fun of me because I started talking to her about the order. And it was like, she just started going, and I couldn't even understand why she was doing that. I just thought it was hilarious. And then I just left the order. I took the order, I put it in my bag, and I left. And I just thought that's so rude on her part. Okay, I'll respond to this little chat here. It's like, if I had one message to the world, what would it be? Be more responsible. I don't think people take enough responsibility for things that they cause. This seems to be more of a trait of people from an older generation from where I came from. Back in, the 90s and 2000s, if you did something wrong, you said, "I'm sorry," and you took responsibility. I'd say anybody under the age of 25, they don't do that. They basically just brush it off and move on. And I think that's kind of rude. It's like you did something wrong, and it's just, if you did something wrong, you just, they would say now, it's like, well, it doesn't matter, it's over now. They don't even want to take responsibility. They just want to say, well, it's in the past. Even though I did something, It's in the past. Okay. Um, but anyways, kind of back to where I was gonna go with this. After I leave the Starbucks place, I just take the order, I go drop it off, and you know, I don't take up the whole bag with me. I just take up their order and I drop it off wherever their place is and just drop it off. There's been a lot of posts on how to drop off an order, because there are people that are dumb enough to actually put it in front of a door that faces outwards, that has a door that opens outwards. And you probably looked at some of these Reddit videos, and these drivers are putting the bag right in front of these things so the customer can't open up the door to get their food. I mean, why would you do that? Just put it to the side of the door that's facing out. It's not that hard. Or I see people taking orders out from a restaurant when it's raining outside without a bag. I mean, without a bag to cover the food. I mean, you're drenching somebody's food on the way out to wherever you're dropping it off. So it's gonna look like a wet dog when it actually gets to where it's going. I mean, who wants their food like that? It's gross. I mean, just do the basics. Put stuff in a bag and then take it out when you get there. I mean, don't be too cool for the room and think that, well, I only have to take out the food. I don't have to put it in a bag. I don't have to, take a bag up to a door. But how would you want it? How would you want it to look? I mean, when you're getting your food, you want your food to actually look edible. I mean, you don't want your food to show up like somebody beat it with a meat cleaver or something. That's not what you want. So, be responsible when you're carrying food, to wherever you're going. Same with, drinks. Drinks suck to carry. And I'll tell you, every driver hates carrying drinks. We don't like going to Starbucks to pick up your order because, or for that matter, we don't even like going to any coffee shop to have to pick up your coffee order because it could fall out of one of those little carriers. No problem. So, you have to be so careful with these people's drinks. The only drinks I like to carry are like boba teas and stuff like that because they have those sealers. And you could, completely flip it on its head and you wouldn't have to worry about the drink. That's the drinks I like to carry. Where whatever you did, if you had to break suddenly and your drink fell on the floor, you wouldn't have to worry about it at all. So, I don't like using branded bags. So if you're a driver that multi-apps, I don't like to use the company bag. I buy my own. Because I like to set up my bag because I carry a fairly large bag. What I do is I have a towel and a blanket, and I have it in there so I can actually put the food in, and it's not going to move around. It's going to stay in one spot. So we're all good. Also, I don't like giving any of the food delivery apps free advertising. And they don't need it anyway. I mean, as far as that goes, I don't think these food delivery apps can actually get any more customers. I think that it's completely saturated anyway. I think if any one of them raised rates, I think that they would jump ship to another food delivery app, because you're always looking for the best deal. And the bad thing is about that on the other end is that means that drivers don't get paid, but that's for a whole nother thing. I hate delivering at night anymore. I used to deliver up until 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, especially when I first started doing the food delivery apps back in the 2010s. So I'm much happier keeping a schedule to where I can actually see everything. You know, it's nighttime, it's daytime every time I'm doing a delivery. Man, I am losing my train of thought. So I think because of that, I think I'm going to shut this off because I'm just blabbering now. And I've lost my train of thought anyway because it's getting late. Thank you very much.